We're live and I'm still adjusting the camera.
Just for a second, I thought I was doing the solo, but well, Mel had to jump in.
Can't believe it. 3 tests, 5th session. It's finally done. Can't believe it.
15-day test is over. Australia champions.
They are. Let's get on with the show. Roll that bumper, boys. Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Ridiculous. And we had plenty of all of it. It's been an incredible series all the way through this in so many ways, an incredible experience for us. And here we are at the end of it. Australia are winners, 1-0. And boy, was it exciting today. Yes? Yes?
It was. Well, there were moments even 2 days ago where it looked like just like we are standing next to each other. It would be Babar Azam and Pat Cummins holding the trophy together. It is a very heavy trophy. And that's what we thought. That's how we thought the series would end. By incredible performance from Australia to make a match of it to start with, bold declarations, and just an outstanding effort today to win in the subcontinent, which is not always easy. But they did what you have to do in the subcontinent. They played the long game. They hung in there, and they deserve to win.
I almost thought it could have finished like this.
Oh.
The enduring image.
Supposed to? Yeah.
Okay, let's get on with some nominations, shall we? He wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. I don't know where she was going with it, to be honest. Yeah. But, well, we shall move on.
Yes.
Shanti at unbroken_warmth, hello, says, good Usman Khawaja version 2. He was the difference between both the teams.
Player of the series. Could have been Pat Cummins, I thought, to be honest, as well. But I mean, how can you really say so much more about this man and what he's done since coming back into the Australian team? He could be such an important player for Australia over the next year when you look at the series to come. And here, it was just incredible to see someone score that many centuries. And at times when he was sick, at times when it was unbelievably hard. He said the century he scored here was probably the hardest he's ever scored in his entire career. And it's just been wonderful to watch. He's been so calm and measured. And he's also been, like a lot of the others, but he's been a brilliant ambassador for this series as well.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time when Usman Khawaja was left out every time Australia toured the subcontinent, or he would be part of the squad and they never played him. They said, he can't handle spin, he can't handle world-class spin. Well, he had to handle more than just spin here. Rawalpindi was flat, yes, but as we moved into Lahore, the pitches got slower and slower and slower. Wherein, maybe yes, it was easier to survive, but it wasn't easy to score runs. But the fact that he kept scoring runs consistently, and he looked so classy. They weren't really wars of attrition that he was fighting when he was in the middle batting. There were slow periods, yes, but he just looked in control from start to finish. And it was only apt that he ended up scoring that 100 yesterday, just before the declaration. And he said it after the first day, didn't he? That this is the most difficult pitch he'd seen so far during this series, relatively speaking. But for him to just this remarkable romantic comeback story continues. Like it started in Sydney. The Islamabad was the homecoming. Karachi was him landing in the land of the Khawajas. And yeah, I mean, he's won over Lahore as well. And I just noticed as the teams were leaving, he was among the last to leave. There were still a few people in the corporate boxes. And the tours ended the way it started for him with people shouting Khawaja, Khawaja as he walked off.
Great nominations. I'm worried about the lights.
Oh, yes, sorry. I won't be visible very soon. Arpit at Cricket for Sarcasm says, good, Pat Cummins is a superhuman. We can only see him in a human body because we have normal eyes. If Cummins is a normal human, he should surely get tired at some point in the field, but he just doesn't.
He's a guy you kind of almost wish that, in private he has bad breath or really funky feet or something. There's got to be something, Mr. Perfect. But for me, just to see him rip out the stump at the last wicket of this series was so apt, because he just made things happen time and time again when you thought they weren't. That brilliant exhibition of reverse that he put on with Mitchell Starc, the way he's conducted himself the whole way through, you just always feel like you can rely on him to do something, to captain the side the way that he did. Didn't get everything right, but you know, that declaration, it was bang on in the end. Clearly, the results show it was bang on. It was aggressive. It gave them a bit of a carrot. Oh my God, this is, hold on. Okay, yeah, Pat Cummins, awesome, go.
Pat Cummins, brilliant, superhuman. Let's continue. No, I mean, like, yeah, you're right, Mel. I think he did everything right in this test match, and everything right as the series went on. As you can see in the background, the sprinklers have gone on.
Yes.
Have come on. And yeah, I mean, his bowling changes, his field placements. I think tactically, he led Australia to victory tactically. Yes, I mean, you can talk about his superhuman feats as a bowler, but I thought, he got his captaincy right. And I can't wait to see him captain this side in Sri Lanka and especially in India next year.
Yeah, brilliant.
Irfan at Aslan Sam 10 says, ridiculous Rizwan not reviewing. And I think it was pretty ridiculous. And I kind of blame Babar Azam also because if you see the replay as Rizwan walks off, he isn't keen on reviewing because his head has fallen over. Maybe he feels it's the in-swinging Yorker as well. Maybe he might have been caught in front. Also, but the umpire didn't take more than a second to raise his finger. So maybe he thought he was out. But as he was walking away, Alim Dar was the umpire. He asked Babar Azam. And Babar Azam just threw with his eyes, said, nah, there's no point reviewing, keep going. Pakistan had one review left. Who knows, maybe the game could have finished differently and maybe they might have ended up sharing the trophy if Rizwan had hung on. But, this is where DRS was, this is why it was brought in for these kind of foulers. It was a blunder. The front foot was on fifth stump. So how or why he and Babar Azam between them decided that it wasn't worthy of a review is quite ridiculous.
And soon afterwards, there was a review that Pakistan probably should have taken. And I wondered if maybe the reason they didn't was because they burned that other review as well, and they got gun shy. So there might have been a bit of a double barrel effect in that as well. So yeah, ridiculous.
Yes, Hassan Gardezi at Shah Gardev says bad the third umpiring. I wouldn't say it was bad. It just is one of those DRS things. We can stand here and talk about it till we are drenched by the sprinklers on DRS. It's a tricky one. I don't think you can blame the third umpire for having given Azhar Ali out. And I said this on commentary. I think the time has come for maybe the ICC to consider specialist third umpires. Yes, these guys are given training to deal with the technology that is various technology that's involved with DRS. But it's not a bad area to have. But these are also their main job is to be in the middle. So it's only when the other two are in the middle and you get a break that you end up as third umpire. So how much time do you get to use that technology and do you know about it intricately? Because you need to know about it intricately, and that's what went wrong with the Azhar Ali call. Because if you see, there were, we call them murmurs, not spikes, even before the ball went close to
the rumbling.
The rumbling. And, a sound technician would have told the umpire that the rumbling of ball touching bat is very different to any other sound, and that the sound technology picks up any sound that happens. It could be, and I can feel a few drops on my thigh as we speak. But yeah, third umpiring, not bad.
All I'll say on that, I did think with Azhar Ali that the rumble started like a frame or two before. So
yeah. NAB 12702. I'm guessing that's your birth date. So happy birthday in advance. At Niranjana 63705167 says good line showing he has still got it in him.
It was a big day for Nathan Lyon. Let's not mince words. We know all these other times when on the fifth day he hasn't been able to bowl a team out, but he played a massive that contest just before lunch between him and Imam, where basically every ball was popping up and landing in the only places where there weren't fielders around the bat. It was incredible, and you could see that frustration. But he kept at it, and he kept at it. And I thought that was possibly one of the best I've seen bowl in a long time, certainly. And just to be able to do the job when it was needed, hopefully it will give him a lot of confidence as well, because he's going to have to do a lot of work. Yeah, let's face it, he's done a lot of work here. He said it was bloody hard work, and he's got a lot to do in upcoming tours as well.
And I'm sure it was bearing on him. 5 straight 5-day finish or 5th-day finishes where Australia haven't been able to get home, or in some cases like Brisbane, the opposition has won. And he has the lead spinner, the world-class spinner with over 100 Test matches. The pressure is always on him to turn the game in their favor. And he finally did it. It hasn't been easy for him. He hasn't played much in the subcontinent. It's been a while since he did that. So it took him a while to get into rhythm, and it also required a pitch like that for him to come good. He was very frustrated in Karachi. He was very angry at the end of that test. But here, so good to see him end up with a smile.
And took marks.
Yes, and we'll move on. Shamim Syed, that Shamim Syed says, bad Pakistan's tail, basically number 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Also, Fawad Alam's review and Rizwan's no review to it. Yeah, I mean, Pakistan basically had two number 9s, three number 9s, a number 11, and Naseem Shah, who someday would hope to be a number 11. So, it was just going to be a matter of time.
Yeah.
And that is one of the reasons I never thought Pakistan would really consciously go after that target, because they knew as well. Once the fifth wicket fell, it was just a matter of time, and as it proved to be, that was the case.
Yeah, we were talking before about, we were going, what were they doing at one point, like when the new ball came on and they were actually started playing their shots. I mean, they were clearly maybe putting some pressure back onto Australia and making the most of the new ball. But I remember thinking at that time, right, the wicket's coming right now. So yeah, there was always going to be a long tail, and once Babar in particular went, it was game on, game over.
Game over indeed. Australia cricket updates at Cricket Update 28 says ridiculous. Steve Smith takes a stunner and just two.
Okay, so the funny thing is, before he actually took the stunner that got rid of Babar Azam, Steve Smith took the best catch that he's made the entire series. There's the one to Smith's Babar, which was brilliant. Interestingly enough, his weight was still basically slightly heading to the right, but this time it wasn't so much that he wasn't able to get the hand, and it finally stuck as he said he wanted to. But before that, he'd gone around behind Alex Carey, leapt and taken a brilliant catch, but they didn't review it and didn't realise in the end that it got like a slight inside edge from Baba. So I thought that was sort of funny. I'm sure he would though if they'd lost.
I don't think Steve Smith finds most things which don't go his way funny, but nor should he. But I thought the fact that his weight went to the right hand side is what actually helped him take the catch, because it went low and towards his left. So it was only because he got into that position that he could get his hands into that position. It was a remarkable catch, as you can see in that wonderful freeze frame there. Yeah, I mean, maybe if he had taken the catch of Abdullah Shafiq in the last test on day 4, Australia might have gone on to win the series 2-0, who knows. But, when it mattered, he hung on to that catch. I mean, he dropped a couple yesterday. It hasn't been an easy series for Steve Smith in terms of getting centuries and taking slip catches. But I'm sure when it, and that was Babar Azam of all people.
Yeah.
If Babar Azam had stood there, who knows? We might be here talking about another draw. But that catch really changed the match, like it happens all often. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure in everything that Australia did today, it might get like kind of slip under the radar, that catch, but it was a special catch.
Slip under the radar. See what he did there?
See what I did there, and subconsciously and voluntarily. Okay, Amitava, our final nomination for the day at Amitava0112, one of our oldest friends, says ridiculous Melinda and Bharat in trying to cover a historic test series, missing out on an absolute box office of the Women's World Cup 2022.
We're there in spirit. We've been watching. Hey, something that's been great is that every day, every morning, they've had the games on in the press box, and there's been loads of interest from the journalists here in watching that. Of course, especially when Pakistan recorded their first win in a World Cup as well. So we have been watching, and look, all I can say is that people around the world, administrators, don't put series that we want to both cover on at the same time. It should be all about us, right?
It should be. It is always about us. Yeah, it's a disappointment also that time travel hasn't been invented where we can keep going from one place to another. Maybe 30 years from now, Mary, when we're still in the...
Beat me up, Scotty.
Absolutely. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't mean Scotty Bailey. I saw the finish of the England-New Zealand match also because I was sick that morning and you guys had gone out for some fancy lunch.
He got sick.
I did. I'm sorry. I did.
He got sick.
Okay, fine. My insides are to Adelaidean now. So I didn't realize that. So now it's been a great World Cup. And now we do have a couple of days off. So we're going to sit and make up for lost time, maybe watch some more highlights. And I think there are some crucial matches coming up, India, South Africa for sure. So, yeah, lots to look forward to. There is a one-day series that we need to prepare for as well. And the lights will be on here in the stadium in Lahore, and we will be there for it. But now,
okay, time. Before we get wet. All right, the time has come for the goodest thing of the day series.
Thank you, Mel. I think the goodest thing for the day has to be Captain Cummins. We've seen bowler Cummins, we've seen blue-eyed Cummins, we've seen superhuman Cummins, but I think this victory, in my book, belongs to Captain Cummins. He's led this team remarkably well since taking over at the start of the Ashes. To come here in completely different conditions, where you have to play the game differently. How the way he adapted very, very quickly to Rawalpindi and then to Karachi and now to Lahore. He's called it a 15-day test, and yeah, I mean he stuck at it till the very end, in the final hour nearly, to clinch like this historic series. So it has to be the goodest thing in the day.
It does have to be the goodest thing. All right, time for the baddest thing of the day.
Hey!
I think the baddest or the most frustrating thing of the day was when there was such amazing cricket going on that sort of, at least for periods, DRS talk dominated, the chat. And it continues to happen. Maybe the time has come where the ICC does seriously look into it. Do the players all need to have so much control over DRS, or should the third umpire have a bigger role when it comes to blunders like the Rizwan one, or controversial ones like the Azhar Ali one, so that we can just focus on the bat versus ball and the great umpiring rather than technology and whether we believe in it or not. So maybe something needs to happen, and that for me was like slightly took away from what happened today.
Okay, good one. Okay.
But yeah,
No, you decide. You're the boss. Time for the ridiculousest thing of the day. Really need to get some of those glasses. Bharat.
Okay, two. I loved some of the, and because there's been such great bonhomie between the two teams. David Warner celebrating like Hassan Ali right in front of his face after Hassan Ali was dismissed, trying to play a sweep and the ball hit his helmet, the back of his bat, his own back, then the front of his bat and rolled onto the stumps. And then Mitchell Stetson doing the Shaheen Shah Afridi celebration after taking his catch or taking Afridi's catch. Was pretty ridiculous in an otherwise. Imagine if this happened in an India-Australia series. That would have been the talking point. Australians mocking India, but because everybody's just friends here, it was all hey, let's get into that position that Mel and I got into. That I didn't expect to a while back. But I'll tell you what, for me, the most ridiculous moment of the day was, and I tweeted this out as well. So Nathan Lyon has taken his 5th wicket, right? He's gone and celebrated like he's won, won the world title. And it must have felt like that. Done, he comes back, and umpire Ehsan Raza is waiting for him. And he points into one of those corporate boxes in front of us where I'm pointing. And I think as Ehsan Raza's family or friends are sitting there. And he asks Nathan Lyon to wave at them. And Nathan Lyon doesn't know what to do, so he really obliges and waves at Ehsan Raza's family. It was such a cute moment for it to happen in the... by then, I guess the tenseness of the match had gone away. Australia just needed 2 more wickets. But still, from going... to go from Nathan Lyon, making up for all those day 5s where he couldn't bowl Australia to victory, taking to the high of having taken a 5th wicket, to suddenly waving at one of the umpires' family, for me just took the cake.
That does suffice. That was 3 ridiculousest things, by the way. He's so greedy. That's it from a fantastic test series, but we're going to hang around because there's some white ball stuff to be played here under lights. So why not? When you're here, you may as well do it. But we have absolutely loved this series. I know I have. It's just been incredible to cover. Really, just everything. Really, apart from pitches, sometimes in a couple of cases. But Really great series, really exciting. I'm excited we got a result. I wouldn't have cared which way it went, really, but it's kind of nice to have a result in the end. So we'll be back. Do please subscribe, give us a like, share it, comment. We love hearing from all of you. And on that note, I think that's just bye, guys.
That's when he smiled.